On June 8, 2020, at approximately 6:20 p.m., officers were dispatched near the intersection of Broadway and College Avenue in reference to a behavioral problem involving weapons.
While officers were responding, 911 dispatchers told officers they had reports of a man in the middle of the road exhibiting belligerent and aggressive behaviors toward drivers, and he had a knife on his hip. The caller stated the knife was about 10 to 12 inches long in a holster. Prior to arriving, officers encountered a man saying, quote, "There's a guy on the streets waving knives," end quote, and was almost sure he was going to, quote, "kill a guy on a bike," end quote. Once officers arrived on scene at approximately 6:28 p.m., they observed the subject standing on the south side of East Broadway next to the sidewalk holding a large silver knife held to his neck and another knife pressed against his abdomen. Officers were positioned behind a patrol vehicle approximately 20 feet from the subject with a department-issued less lethal shotgun. These types of guns are a standard 12-gauge shotgun that shoot a super sock round, commonly known as a beanbag round. After only a few seconds of engaging with the man, it was obvious that he was having a mental health crisis. Throughout the duration of their encounter with the subject, the officers talked to the subject in a calm, empathetic, and compassionate tone while offering food and water several times. As officers engaged with the subject, there was also a crowd of demonstrators giving encouraging messages to the man in crisis.
We can get you some cold water, a meal, and get you talking to somebody and getting your mind right, okay? Please let us help you.
These clips demonstrate that our officers took the proper steps to tend to the needs of the man while getting him to comply with our request to put the knives down. They used the proper de-escalation tactics per our use of force policy 300.3 that states, taking action or communicating verbally or non-verbally during a potential force encounter in an attempt to stabilize the situation and reduce the immediacy of the threat so that more time, options, and resources can be called upon to resolve the situation without the use of force or with a reduction in the force necessary. De-escalation may include the use of such techniques as command presence, advisements, warnings, verbal persuasion, and tactical repositioning. An officer can never know the actual nature of a threat or actual intent of another, so the ultimate objective of every law enforcement encounter is to avoid or minimize injury. Once officers were able to safely detain the man, it was determined that the subject should be admitted to the Missouri Psychiatric Center for an evaluation. Medics transported him to the University of Missouri Hospital, where he was left in the care and custody of the hospital staff.
It is important to note that this same subject was taken into custody and transported to Missouri Psychiatric Center on June 12 after threatening crowds of people with a 9-inch blade. For the protection of our citizens and the subject, we do not take these events lightly. But even in high-stress situations where force is used, our officers treat others with respect.